welcome back to the Ocean Racing YouTube channel. Just quick recap, our last trip was to Oregon, and the reason why we went to Oregon is because I want to win the 2024 CDBA Modified Eliminator Championship. Gotten runner-up one other time. I lost by like 218 points. Had we gone to Oregon, I would have had a much better chance of winning that year, but we didn't. That's okay. So this year, I wanted to really do anything I possibly could to lock in the championship.
Yep.
So leading right now by like 714 points, I think. So it's not completely locked in yet, but we're close.
Yep.
So it was worth the trip, but it was an amazing race. Loved the track.
Great venue.
Great venue.
Amazing
great
hospitality. Yep.
Weather was amazing. Sitting on the holding rope, and we got some people that are like, it's getting hot out here. And I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. After our last race in Parker.
Well, it was 80 degrees compared to 110 here. And then the only gripe for weather actually would have been the humidity. It started getting a little sticky about 2-3 o'clock.
I didn't feel it.
Over there, so
probably because I was sweaty, but
probably
from the suit. But either way, I didn't feel it. It felt amazing. But it was a long 21-hour drive there. Drove first day Wednesday, what was that? The 10th, I think. July 10th was Wednesday. We drove 6.5 hours to Pahrump, Nevada. Stayed the night there at Best Western, right? I think it was Best Western. It was a good Best Western. I liked that hotel. It was a great receptionist there too. She deserves a good review. This will make more sense here at the end of the video. But yeah, stayed there, got up at like, I don't even know, 5 o'clock in the morning, left and did the last 15-hour drive on Thursday.
Yep.
You drove the whole time?
Yep.
I was passenger.
We got into Oregon.
We got passed by Cole and Chris Irick on the way there.
Yeah, that was before we got to Reno. And then got into Oregon and got to the Airbnb by 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8:30, something like that.
And it's still bright as can be outside.
Yeah. Jaden and JoJo were there already. They flew in to support and help out. So that was good. They were already at the Airbnb. We ordered some Taco Bell on DoorDash, hit the sack, and got up early Friday to head to the track for registration and setting up the pit and all that fun stuff. So got there, did that, got on the asphalt, as you had said.
Yep.
Good old asphalt spot. We never get asphalt.
Asphalt spot.
Except for Firebird. Firebird's the only spot we've ever had.
It's the only other place that we get a chance to be on asphalt or concrete, and we're not on dirt. So keeps everything a lot cleaner.
And we were right on the water. So from the pit, we could see all of the racing, which was cool as shit. Loved being able to be in the pit and watch all of the racing. We did, 3 passes on Saturday, or Friday, I mean.
3 test passes Friday.
It was a brand new motor in the boat. He just finished it, didn't have time to dyno it, so just had to pretty much tune it while we were out there.
While we were at the track, yep.
And what was the first pass I did? I don't know.
I want to say it was a 780 something.
My third pass Friday was an 8.003, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 8.003. Trying to run as close to 8.0 as possible. We were running a little fast earlier in the day, but final pass 8.003, which was great. Didn't really take a ton of time to get used to the lights. It was each lane was pretty even, which was nice because we're used to being on the river where lanes are definitely going to be different on each side based on current and whatnot. So being there at Dexter, lanes are pretty even, which was super nice. The way they set it up was interesting, but actually really freaking cool. Launch you, the in ramp and the out ramp are the same ramp.
Yep. They only have one ramp, so.
Launch us, we hold onto a rope there, and then they'll fire us up when we have like a whole heat ready, usually your whole class. Once that's ready, they'll tell us to fire up and lead them out to the rope. So whoever's first in the line drives out first, we get out to the rope, and then you drive up to the rope backwards actually, then you flip around to do a 180 on it to go back down the track. So, and you could do a burnout on the way to the holding rope, which is really freaking cool. So.
Which to most people probably watching this,
don't.
They're gonna wonder, how the hell do you do a burnout in a boat? Because it's got no wheels.
It's a burnout in our eyes.
Yeah, It's not
You
really a
just kind of do
burnout, but
it's like a short pass.
yeah.
It's like not a full
You're just
pass.
showing off.
Get to do that on the way out to the rope, which was kind of cool. So Friday we finished up testing. We felt pretty good going into Saturday. I blew a bowl gasket final pass on Saturday too, and I ran that 8003.
That was Friday.
I would say Saturday.
Keep saying Saturday.
Sorry. Friday final pass 8003. Blew a bowl gasket. Thankfully, Donnie LeBon had one for us.
Yep. Thanks, Donnie.
Yep. Thank you, Donnie. I don't know why this was really stupid. I walked over to Jerry's pit to go ask them if they had an empty beer box. I figured they would, and they didn't. So I go walking back, and I go by Donnie's pit, and I was like, go to ask him for a box, not registering the fact that he has a freaking jet boat and probably has bowl gaskets.
When Jade and I were looking at that and we were trying to figure out how we were going to fix that, once we figured out we didn't have any extra bowl gaskets, he was the last person we thought of. So, and that should have been the first person to think of. You know, the guy with a top fuel jet on property should probably have some bowl gaskets in his trailer. So,
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Maybe we just didn't want to bother him.
I don't know. But
I don't fucking know.
again, thank you, Donnie, for the parts.
Saturday went out for qualifying. We did Super E qualifying first, right?
So Super E qualifying was the first run.
They
Only
let
got
you
one
do,
pass on that.
yeah, for Super E, it's just kind of like our test run. It's a dial-in class. I think we talked about it in our last video.
Yep.
But they did that first, and although we qualified for Super E, they don't do a ladder with it, so we pulled out of a hat, or not a hat. They kind of just lined us up randomly, and then one person got a bye run. And then we all just kind of got paired up randomly, I think.
On Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, on Sunday.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we did that pass, and then we had 3 for modified, and qualifying went well. First pass I ran too fast. Second run, again, as I was saying earlier about doing the burnout in the way, I decided to make a quick pass down to the rope and realized my diverter was not working at all. So figured that out, and I was like, well, shoot. So then I was on the rope, and I'm trying to mess with whatever I could. I didn't know what the problem was. I knew that there wasn't any electrical going to it. Like, there was no electric to it at all because it wouldn't even try to come up. So I jimmed with the key. I tried to touch the wires up underneath it where I knew it was connected. I tried to touch it on my steering wheel where it's connected. I was messing with every wire I possibly could to try to figure it out while I'm sitting there waiting. I'm looking behind me to see if I could see a wire that was loose or anything. And as I'm looking behind me, all of a sudden I hear the guy I'm supposed to be running fire up. And I was like, oh, shoot. So I don't know if I didn't hear it, if maybe my radio cut out. I'm not sure what happened. I just all of a sudden heard my opponent fire up. I turned back around, looked at the starter. He had called for the lights, and so the lights are going, and I just kind of was like, well, I'm going to just fucking send it and see what happens. So I knew the diverter wasn't going to come up, and I still tried. I still did everything I was supposed to. I hit the button like I would normally, and it didn't come up, but I ended up running an 8.4...
8.5.
8.5. So we're in 8.40, and that's what I ended up qualifying with. Went out for my third pass, broke out again.
Yeah, so first qualifier for Super E was a 7.96. Second qualifier, which was the first one for modified, was a 7.92.
Yeah.
And then the third one that you just spoke of, that 8.48, which is the one we qualified with. And then the last one, which we were hoping to improve on, the 8.48. And unfortunately, we're still too fast, ran a 7.98.
Yeah. So I probably could have gotten off of it a little bit, but I just ran it out the back door. I was like, screw it. I didn't really honestly care where I qualified. Obviously, I always want to qualify first, but I just also wanted to see what it would do if I ran it out the back door, so we had numbers going into Sunday. At that point, I preferred, okay, I've already qualified, might as well run out the back door, see how close we are dialed in to that 8.0.
And we had also thought from looking at the weather station and seeing how much the weather was changing that we were going to be down on performance a little bit anyway, and that it would probably put us really close to that 8.00 number again. So we were hoping that that's what we'd run out the back door, but we were still a little quick.
So I ended up qualifying 3rd out of 5 boats. Saturday night, they do a Calcutta, which I had never heard of until then.
Yep.
Cool as shit. I want to go back, honestly, just for that.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring more money this time.
That's way too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do a whole potluck, which I didn't know about. I would have definitely made something. So hopefully we can come back next year, and I'll make some goodies because I like doing that. So hopefully we can come back for that. But they did the Calcutta, and for If you don't know what that is, hopefully I can explain this quickly. Basically, you bid on each driver. So they go by class, and they'll start with, like, for our example, modified eliminator, number 5 qualifier, so-and-so, bids starting off at, like, what, $20? I think that's what they started them off at. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think they started most of them about $20.
$20, you bid, and it just keeps going. So you see how high you can get the bids to go, and whoever bid the most on that driver pays that money, and it goes into a pot. Then they go to the number 4 qualifier. They say, okay, this is your number 4 qualifier. Cole Billings was the one running the whole thing, and he kind of gave a little recap of the driver briefly, if you knew him, said a couple of things. So went through that, that person gets done. So they go on. So being your number 3 qualifier, this is actually when I found out I qualified 3rd. I thought I was last at the time.
We thought we were last or probably second to last with that 848 number.
So I was like, okay, whatever. So when we weren't number 5, we were like, how did we not qualify last? And we weren't 4th, we were like, how did we not qualify 4th? Ended up being 3rd.
Cole Billings, that was being the auctioneer for it, started the bid off, and then Jaden started bidding, and they just went back and forth till they got up to, like, I don't know, $70-75. And then I believe that's when Vito started bidding against Jaden. And then I decided I was going to bid against Vito and Jaden. And so by the time I had gotten in, I bet $100. And Vito,
I went to the bathroom because I didn't want to be a part of it.
Vito decided he wanted to up it to $200. So at that point, we were done because we had agreed. We're like, all right, we'll spend $100, you know, not thinking
We were only
that it
supposed
was.
to spend $80 because I was supposed to go buy a T-shirt with 20 of my $100. I only had $100 left.
That was
cash.
never part of the agreement. It was $100 when we left because it was a $100 bill. So when we left the pit, it was $100.
Maybe I was saying it when I was in Donnie's pit.
Yeah.
When I got on the capsule boat. I think I told JoJo we were only going to spend $80, but that word didn't get back. It's
so,
it's
but
fine.
we got up to 200. I figured we were done. And of course, Dustin and Lisa had just shown up because they flew in to support you. And Dustin decides to tell me, well, tell him 300. All right. So I turn around and tell him 300. Vito decides he wants to go 4. So now I'm really done because I'm like, all right, $400. We're not going to spend anyone's money. No big deal. You know, we'll let Vito have it. And turn back around, and Dustin's not letting me stop. He tells me to tell him $500. So I turn around and we bid $500 on you, and
yeah, pressure was on at that point.
That's what won. So
yep, puts a little pressure on the driver, I must say.
A little bit.
It's cool as shit. Like,
it's
it's cool as fuck.
yeah,
I want to go do it again.
It's way too much fun.
I want to go do it again, but yeah, that was a. And we're back. We overheated there. You know, this lovely Arizona weather. It's not like Oregon, as we were just mentioning. We were recapping our Oregon race, and as we said, the weather there was way better than it is here. So if you see us wiping the sweat off our head, that is why. Didn't get a chance to recap it in Oregon. So the pressure was on at that point to have $500 on the line. Thankfully, it was $500 of our own money. So I wasn't as worried about it. Right. Well, not quite our own. Dustin and Lisa pitched in. Cole Irick pitched in. I paid them all back after I lost.
They pitched in to give us the cash to give to them. So, but yeah, we paid them all back. So we don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah, so that was the Calcutta Saturday night. It was our first time ever doing it. That was honestly just super cool. Yeah. I want to go back for multiple reasons. One, Calcutta was cool as shit, and not in any specific order by any means.
Yeah.
Calcutta, the hospitality, like
that goes such a long ways when you drive that distance, and you get there, and they just treat you like you always come there.
Yeah.
And that you're one of their usual members or racers that shows up all the time, and you don't get that everywhere you go. So it's really nice to have that, because then that will make you want to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't feel as much of an outsider when you have, you know, everyone coming up to you and just thanking you for making the drive and coming up to this race, and, you know, just being there and participating. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was super freaking cool to do that. So after the Calcutta, Get up Sunday morning. We get to the track right about 8 o'clock. They didn't do a driver's meeting Saturday, or Sunday, I mean. Sunday, no driver's meeting. We went out for Super E, which I thought was super cool. They run Super E in 660 first because they know a lot of drivers are using those classes as like our type of dial-in, like practice type run the day of for our bracket class. So love the fact they did that. ADBA does it sometimes, like, and it's usually because of boat count. Like, we usually high boat count with that, so I get why it happens the way it does, which, whatever. But it was super cool that they were like, yeah, we're running Super E first. We use it as our dial-in. I broke out.
You broke out.
So I was going to dial originally a 794. Tyler said a 790.
Yep.
So we asked Jaden. I was like, hey, where should we dial? I said 794. Tyler said 790. Like, what do you think? Jaden goes 792 right in the middle. We're like, okay, cool. I honestly felt really good about that.
I was like, I didn't have any problems with it. That's why I didn't push for the 790 harder.
I like to cut it close. We usually do, especially in Super E. We cut it super freaking close. Yeah. I hadn't ran a 792 in a while. Like, we did it on Friday, I think. We ran a 792.
We ran...
Or first round Saturday.
Saturday, we ran a 792.
But then it was, you made some changes, and it was 796, 796, 798. So 792, I was like, oh yeah, we'll be golden. Like, no big deal.
Yeah.
My fault as a driver. I should have backed off just a hair, knowing that the boat wasn't right there, but I honestly wasn't watching him that closely. Like, usually I fender race pretty well and modified, but Super E, I usually just run it out the back door. I don't pay any freaking attention because I try to dial it in so close that I'm just going to run it out the back door.
Yeah.
So my fault as a driver, should have looked over and I didn't. Could have gotten out of it maybe a hair depending on where he was, but it is what it is. Ended up running a 7.912. So I broke out by 0.008 of a second, which to us is a long time. It's a short time, but it's a long time. If you're not racing, it's like, that is so freaking quick. Like, how do you even comprehend that? So yeah, I ran that, ended up breaking out, went out for modified, won first round of modified. I left the line way before him, all the way down the track, I was ahead of him. I got out of it. I got out of it too much, but at the same time, when I was getting out of it, I was already still super far ahead of him, so I was like, there's no way I'm going to lose this race. It's first or worse, technically. Like, you have the numbers you have to win, but I knew from the time I left the rope to the top end of the track, I was in front of him every second of the way. I ended up running like a freaking 870. Like,
yeah,
super slow. And that was all fender racing. Some call it sandbagging, some call it fender racing.
All depends on how well you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, won first round of modified, and then went out for second round of modified, and I had the number one qualifier. He was dialed in all weekend. He was running 8.0 after 8.0 after 8.0 after 8.0.
And he was cutting really good lights, too.
Yeah, cutting really good lights every freaking time. I did okay on the lights first part of the weekend. Sunday did not. Couple things I realized after the fact that I did change was when I was letting go of the rope. So letting go of the holding rope and then throwing into gear and taking off, I changed that a little bit on Sunday. Not honestly thinking about it affecting my reaction time the way it did, but ultimately it did. I was ahead of him most of the way down the track. Pretty much the whole way down the track. I was ahead. And fender raced my ass off. Ended up running an 8.002. And I lost. That hurts you a little bit.
Yeah. When the announcer came up, announced the other guy the winner, and said he ran an 8.05, I was sitting in the truck and I go, he ran an 8.05 and she was trying to keep it right there with him and broke out because...
Okay, we're back again. The camera overheated.
Again. Twice.
So twice now it's overheated. Tells you how fucking hot it is here in Arizona.
Yeah.
So back to where we left off. I lost modified eliminator semifinal run with an 8.002. I lost on a hole shot.
Yep.
Sucks to lose that way, but it is what it is. Boat racing, you got the starting line race, the actual race, and then you're also racing your competitor. So I say there's three. There's kind of three races. So yeah. Anyways, long story short, we lost, went out, we qualified third, we finished third. not a bad weekend. We finished the weekend. I am up 700, a little over 700 points. This is what I'm leading by right now, sitting first against the second opponent. Everyone else has missed 2 races, so they don't qualify.
Yeah, so they don't qualify for the championship anymore.
Yeah, they don't qualify anymore, but I'm still determined to beat them in points. Because one of them's pretty close still, and I still want to beat him in points, even though he's missed 2 races. So that's where we're at. We finished up Sunday. We decided to postpone our leaving until Monday morning. Typically, we pack up and head out right away. We did not do this race, which was kind of cool, to hang out, finish watching racing, just enjoy the weather, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and we were dead tired and didn't get any sleep hardly at all because it stays bright out there for so long. You don't realize what time it is when it finally gets dark until you look down and you're like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I need to go home.
Yeah, so we got up Monday morning, drove home. Jaden and JoJo ended up canceling their flights home from Oregon, and they drove with us to LA. We dropped them off. We decided to take the 5 down instead of going back through Nevada. Dropped them off at LA, and then we got our hotel in Fontana, which, fuck that hotel. They saved $200 canceling their flights. We got charged a $250 security deposit because we hit a 9-foot limit sign.
Just the
JoJo
sign.
didn't hear that. We hit the sign.
All it did was knock the sign off of the thing that it was the wooden deal right at the front of the hotel. We're driving under it. Had the sign hanging down on the chains. It just knocked the one side off. Like pulled the screw out of the wood, but it just knocked it off and it's hanging on the chains straight up and down on the other side. $250 for a security deposit for that.
I'm arguing it. Don't stay at the Comfort Inn in Fontana. I might change that statement if they refund me our security deposit. And other than that, we woke up Tuesday morning and we finished driving home, and we're home, and now we're doing an update. So that's kind of it. Next year, I hope we can come back to Oregon. We posted a thing on our Instagram story for you guys to ask us questions, and now we're going to answer the questions. The questions will be listed here, and we're going to answer them. So let's get started. Leanne Parker.
That's a great answer. Because that's not what he wanted to hear.
He'll agree, though.
Yeah,
and if he does it, he's going to be in the doghouse.
I'm sure he will.
So, yeah, definitely Leanne Parker. She's the best looking one out there. There you go, Rusty.
How long did it take me to grow the beard?
It's been growing.
It doesn't get any longer than where it's currently at, because it's been at this length for 2 years now. I cut it off before. Emily doesn't like that. She gets mad when I do that. So it probably took about a full year to get to this length.
Boat racing?
No.
I mean, I'd go Top Fuel Hydro as a top class, but my next one, Daniel LeBon.
Get in the Top Fuel jet.
Yeah, because jet boats fucking rock.
Jet boats do rock.
My favorite hype song. Oh, God. All of my hype songs are pretty much all Shinedown.
She listens to a shit ton of Shinedown.
Yeah.
So
Shinedown all day,
she's been
every
stuck
day.
on human radio a lot lately, so we'll say that.
Kid Rock second.
She has boobs.
Yes, I would say to a point. We always do RFC on Sundays in our pit now. That's kind of like our thing. I don't feel comfortable racing and doing any pass down the track without doing a prayer first. If I don't have Jim and Linda there to do it, I will do it myself in the boat. Mm-hmm. There's RFC sticker here. I have a picture of Jim and Linda here on the side of my boat with them praying with me. And I love having that there because I feel like then they're with us. Win the championship. That is my one and only goal. Win the championship.
Yeah. It's almost
Honestly.
locked in all the way, so.
Yeah. Pretty much
We're
that's
going to
it.
finish it off.
When my engine builder builds me something bigger, or I get to drive someone else's boat. So we shall see which one happens sooner. Do the men of the sport treat me any different? I haven't really felt it. I know other girls in the sport have. I have personally not experienced
I don't think I've ever seen anyone
at least to my face.
have an issue with you just because you're a girl. Well, right now we don't know.
Yeah. Right now, the
Question
565 in
marks.
it is a question mark. It has not been dynoed yet, so we don't have a 100% answer. There was a 598 in it before, and that one made about 1,050. This 565, it should be fairly close.
Should be fairly close.
So
Just based off of numbers from the weather at the last race, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
So
When
it is coming out. It is going on the dyno, so we will have numbers soon. Oh man, that one's hard. I really like driving them, but I also really like working on them. I don't know. That one's really hard. That's hard to answer.
I can answer it, I think, better. You like working on it when there's multiple to work on. If you can focus on yourself racing, you're going to enjoy racing.
Yeah, if I don't have to work on anything, I enjoy racing more than working on anything.
Yeah.
So.
But if there's multiple things going on, you have to work, you would much rather work.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
do better that way.
Yeah,
you're very
you're right. That's the
hyper
best.
focused on something.
That's the best way to put that for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh.
That's a good
Honestly,
question.
I love racing him. And I still have to put your ass on the trailer.
Hasn't happened yet.
Have not done that yet. He's a great crew chief. I will never, ever, ever in a million years ask for anybody else to be a crew chief over him. But I also absolutely love lining up against him on the ropes. That's a tough one to answer. Selfishly, I want to be a crew chief all the time, just because I know my shit will run good then. But for fun, I want to race him. Do you want to go? Or do
You
want
can
me to?
answer first.
To be sponsored and like make it a career, I would love to be able to say Top Fuel Hydro or Top Fuel Jet running that fucking fast if we had the like big class where it actually made money. I would do that all day long. But in today's age, knowing what's popular, what's not, Top Fuel Dragster.
I like a bunch of different forms of motorsports, so it's tough, but I think I have to agree with you that Top Fuel Dragster is like the epitome of what I would want to drive. Just because I love drag racing so much. So
Yeah. That's a good one.
she better fucking win. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like get nervous or anything for her because I know that the boat's set up right and she does a good job driving it. So really, I'm just trying to like come up with a scenario in my head of what can happen and just hoping that she comes out with a win.
Oh, I have to say last Parker race, the fact that I blew the motor up second round of qualifying, hooked it up, loaded up, drove 3 hours home, swapped motors, came back. We went out in the semifinals and modified, but we ended up winning Super E. So that was like a great memory. I couldn't have in a million years asked you guys to do that, but
Yeah.
these Valley boys. Oh, yeah, I couldn't choose one. If I had to choose my favorite teammate, and it's gonna sound biased, it'd have to be you because you're like the prime one getting me down the fucking track. Oh, racing against? Favorite teammate to race against?
That's a hard one.
That's another hard one.
That's a really hard one.
Oh God.
Joe's just like, shit, I asked hoping I'd be like right there at the top and now she's got to think, so I'm just going down the list.
Favorite person to hang out with on the rope? Like hang out with, chit chat with? Fucking JoJo all day long. JoJo and I have the most conversations on the rope. But actual like fun conversation, like who do I want to hang out on the rope? JoJo. Who do I want to line up against? I don't think JoJo and we've never raced each other. We've never actually ran each other. That'd be a fun race.
No.
Carne
Favorite.
asada.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good answer.
Fucking great answer.
I feel like we're on Family Feud right now. Good answer, good answer.
Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Firebird.
Firebird.
Definitely Firebird.
Both of those go hand in hand. So, one, yes, he's a really good customer, and I want to take care of him when we can. And two, I always want to see that boat haul ass. That boat's fucking badass. So, if all I have to do is take 10 minutes out of my time of me not doing anything in the pit at the races anyway, for the most part, to run through the valves and make sure it's good, by all means, I'm going to do it. I mean, I do it for everyone else that we build motors for too. So, yeah.
As a blooper, happy wife, happy life. So he's got to keep her boyfriend happy.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we run valves because Rhonda's cool squad.
Because Rhonda's cool. All right, so that concludes all of the questions that we had. If we missed any of your questions, sorry, we apologize. We were filming while we were, asking that stuff of you on Instagram. So if we didn't get to your question, we're sorry, but we'll make sure we get it in a little sooner so we can get all of them next time.
Thank you. And subscribe below.
Coming to Bakersfield in September.
Yes.
Think you could drive my boat for me?
Like, as like the driver, like race it, drive it?
Yeah.
Yeah.